Elche, who showed his ability and high work rate in Atletico's midfield. The technical talent of Ricardo Quaresma saw him shine in the Spanish First Division, and known for his spiting spirit, Ricardo Sapinto's contribution to Real Sociedad was also impressive.
We'll be back again next week, bringing in another set of players who help make La Liga the best in the world. Wish everyone well, and we'll see you all soon.
After 2 months without an away game, Villarreal will find it hard to travel far from home, and with their permanence in place, Celta's going to be their toughest host. Saturday, La Liga Santander, Celta Villarreal on La Liga TV.
Back to win.
Can you hear it? It's getting closer all the time. That's what being back sounds like. That's the sound of winning.
Deploying decoy.
Maybe, just maybe, after all that stargazing, our wish has been granted. The best football in the world.
Incendiary!
We're stronger because we've learned to get up after a fall and to help others at all times.
We are stronger.
We're stronger because we've come to understand that the important thing is our shared goal, and that despite the times when we're not strong enough, we can always count on the strength of others. We're stronger because now we know that the result doesn't matter, that the real triumph is playing, and by returning, we've already won this match.
Throwing fire!
Back to win.
Back to win. Back to win. Back to win.
We are different. Similar, but never the same. In spite of this, there is one thing that we share from the very first minute. Being happy. So we get up to cheer as one, side by side. And no one can take our smiles away. And although our hearts might stop for a second, they'll beat even stronger afterwards. Happiness brings us together. Join us. After the stoppage, Leganés are hell-bent on sealing their performance as soon as possible. That said, Valladolid had the same goal and the same haste. Saturday, La Liga Santander, Leganés Valladolid on La Liga TV.
Follow me. Hold this position. Cover this area. Cover this area.
Hey, hey!
The wait is over. Football is back. La Liga Show will be bringing you an in-depth lowdown on all the matches from the long-awaited return of the Spanish Championship. After a 3-month hiatus, the action begins again.
What better way to start than with a spectacular Gran Derby from the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan as Sevilla and Real Betis come face to face in the clash.
We won't, of course, be forgetting the other games from matchday 28, especially the first of the 11 finals for Barça and Real Madrid as they battle it out for the league title. The Catalans resume their campaign in Mallorca, while Zidane's outfit are home to ABRE.
I'm thrilled. I just can't wait to get back to competitive football. Personally, I want to get back to playing football as soon as possible. For me and everyone else, the fact that football is back is a great sign. Little by little, we're returning. I'm really keen to get back to normality and return to doing what we love best. Anxious to see everything get going and to see a ball being kicked about on a pitch once again.
It was what everyone was in the corner. 3 months after this goal from William José de Purua, best league in the world is back with us. The COVID-19 health crisis has been characterized by months of uncertainty. It's featured lockdown, confinement and home training, followed by tests and the implementation of protocols. After that, there's been a progressive return to normality for La Liga clubs. Spanish football has had to face many ups and downs and the long road that's led to the resumption of the season. Football, day in, day out. A thrilling prospect. We're facing the decisive stage of the campaign and anything could happen. Can Real Madrid from Barcelona? Will a surprise package suddenly enter the title race? Which teams will get a ticket to Europe? And which outfits will come out on top in the relegation battle? There's still so much to be decided. We're looking forward to an exciting end to the season. It'll take place within a totally new setting, which we'll all need to adapt to. Television will also be adapting to the circumstances. La Liga will be doing its best to make the very most of the new reality and entertain fans across the planet. We'll also be making a few changes whilst we're at it, including a new and exciting positioning of the cameras, more audio options, an increase in interactive possibilities, and some other exciting surprises. We're all set for the amazing spectacle of Spanish football to take off once again. After 3 months of struggle and collective unity, the long-awaited moment has arrived. Smiles are back. The passion is back. Magic is back. At long last, La Liga Santander is back.
With just 11 games to go, this is the state of affairs at the top of the table. Barcelona are leaders, 2 points ahead of Real Madrid, while Sevilla and Real Sociedad occupy 3rd and 4th. Down at the bottom, Celta on 26 points, hover just above the relegation zone, which is occupied by Mallorca, Leganés and Espanyol. Leo Messi is well ahead in the race to be the championship's top scorer. Karim Benzema, with 5 goals less, seems to be the only viable threat to the Argentinian.
Say, guys. Go, hey, Raj.
Valencian derby is another promising tie with Atletico visiting San Mamés. Real Madrid home to Eibar. Barca defending top spot against Mallorca.
Nope.
La Liga needed to come back in style. And what better way to celebrate its long-awaited return than El Gran Derby? One of the oldest, most passionate clashes in Spanish football.
It's the first game, an amazing way to return. It's one of the most historic and passionate rivalries in Spain, even in Europe. And on top of that, we'll be catching 2 strong teams in action. We both have some really quality players, and I think it's a great game to see in the return of football.
Sevilla and Real Betis come face to face in an encounter which will go down in the history books. A match that saw the resumption of the campaign after a 3-month break. The game is, as always, an exciting prospect. Under the present circumstances, it's an even more special occasion.
Derby is always special for everybody, for us as a team, for the club, for our fans, for the city, and we will do everything to win the 3 points and to make our fans happy and give them something to be happy about, after this situation more difficult for everybody.
Sevilla were 3rd in the table and in fine form when the lockdown came into force. On their last league outing, Lopetegui's outfit came away from Atletico Madrid with a very useful 2-2 draw, thanks to goals from Luke de Jong and Lucas Ocampos.
He drives it into the bottom left-hand corner of the net.
The Argentinian, who's been having a great season with the Andalusian club, found the net for the 4th game running, making him the team's top scorer in the championship with 10 goals. After a morale-boosting win against Real Madrid, Real Betis were also riding high before the break. Those 3 hard-fought points mean they find themselves in 12th spot coming into the derby, 14 points behind their local rivals. The Green and White's best player last time out was Nabil Fekir. Betis fans are looking to him to make the difference as they return once again to the Pizjuan. So far this season, the Frenchman has been directly involved in 10 of his team's 38 goals. Every single one of Betis' players needs to be at the very best if they're to reverse the trend of recent derbies, which have generally gone in Sevilla's favour. Last season, the team in white won the game at their own stadium 3-2, thanks to goals from Munir, Sarabia, and
Bates,
Lopetegui's outfit won 2-1, forcing De Jong cancelling out Lauren Moron's efforts.
AWP var, AWP.
Sevilla and Real Betis are about to come face to face in a game which will
Flash, yaş.
The pride of a whole city is at stake in this spectacular encounter. The match that sees the return of La Liga Santander.
One of matchday 28's most exciting fixtures has to be El Derby de Valencia. The game will find Kevin Gamero eager to repeat his
Bekle, gelsin, bekle.
season when he bagged the brace in the clash between the two clubs. But just before the break, the French striker played his 200th game in the top flight. Since his arrival in La Liga 7 years ago, Gamero has demonstrated his innate goal-scoring skills. First at Madrid and right now at Valencia. Bearing in mind Gamero's 200 appearances in the Spanish Championship, today's question is: do you know which Frenchman has made the most appearances in La Liga Santander? Karim Benzema, Antoine Griezmann, or Zinedine Zidane? Have a think, and we'll be back with the answer at the end of the show. Che and Los Granotas battle it out to see who is the city's top club. Albert Salades will be without the suspended Jeffrey Kondogbia, but has the rest of his squad available. Games of any team in La Liga Santander this season, and they're absolutely determined to change things around and win this vital clash. Roger Martí, one of the league's top scorers, will be encouraged by the fact that over the course of his career he has scored more goals against Valencia than any other club.
almost all his squad available for the match against his direct rivals, Real Madrid. We'll also be missing the suspended Ruben Garcia. The final game of the first match day after the lockdown could well be a treat. The last time the two teams met was a real thriller, which ended 4-3 in favour of Imanol Alguacil's outfit.
This is how the La Liga Santander account announced the return of football. A number of the championship stars joined in the celebration. Players and teams are all well informed about the present situation and equipped with all the necessary protective materials to prevent the spread of the virus. Here are some images and videos from social media in which we can see the important role of the face mask. Spanish football returns in style with El Gran Derby as the main course. This is how Sevilla and Betis have been preparing for the big match. The break has given the opportunity for a number of key injured players to recover in time to play in this last stage of the championship. Here are some of their photos.
Barcelona, almost by chance, were top of the league table when the coronavirus hit. Having beaten Real Sociedad, and with Real Madrid going down at the Benito Villamarin, Setien's outfit were back on top going into the lockdown. And of course, remained there for the duration. Before that, Los Blancos had regained the #1 spot after defeating Barça in El Clásico. In many ways, a completely new league is upon us. All the runs, the form, the varying states of mind from before the break are in the past. Only the present matters. Everything will be decided in a final sprint of 11 matches, and Barça is currently leading the pack.
It's great being on the field with your teammates. There are 11 games to go and every one of them is a final. We all know it's going to be very hard. Real Madrid are right behind us and we can't take anything for granted. We have to go out there determined to win every match.
The first hurdle in the race to hold on to the title is Mallorca. The Island Club have their own objective, and that's to do whatever it takes to stay up as they play out this final compressed stage of the season. Vicente Moreno's side are just 1 point away from safety. They went on a good run at one point, which gave them hope, but since then their form has slumped. Mental strength will be more important than ever, and they'll also be spurred on by a desire to avenge a 5-2 thrashing when the clubs met earlier in the season. The star of that game, Luis Suarez, was injured before lockdown, but has now recovered and is match fit. Lenglet, however, will be serving a ban. We're all poised for the most incredible end ever to a La Liga season. Mallorca and Barça resume their efforts to fulfill their ambitions with a clash at Son Moix.
A new league, a new setting, new faces. But the objectives have not changed one bit. Real Madrid and ABRE return to the competition, not at the Santiago Bernabeu, but in the Alfredo de Stefano Stadium. Renovation work at the Bernabeu and the impossibility of playing in front of the public led to the decision to convert the reserve team ground into Zidane's team's new home for the duration of this remarkable final stage.
Yo creo que es el punto de
It's the
partida.
first Berlin match. That's how we see it.
Vamos así.
I really hope we can win as many as possible of those games and come away with the league title.
Victorias y conseguir el título de liga.
The game does kick off. All this means very little. Real Madrid are battling for the top spot, which they let slip through their fingers just before the break. Zidane is well aware if they're going to have a chance, his side need to be on the ball right from the start for the final sprint. What's more, they're at home for their first two games, so there is very little margin for error. ABRE, meanwhile, have to keep their heads for the remaining 11 matches of the season. They are only 2 points above the relegation zone, and the slightest slip-up could spell disaster. Jose Luis Mendilibar, Gonzalo Escalante, who's serving a ban. The long lockdown has, on the other hand, helped the cause. Their treatment room is now practically empty, and both Marco Asensio and Eden Hazard are lost. The battle is about to start for both Los Blancos and Los Armeros. 11 crucial games will determine whether one wins the league title and whether the other stays up. Can they do it?
Our mission is simple. Take them out. Deploying flashbang.
On this week's La Liga show, bearing in mind Gamero's 200th appearance in La Liga, we asked if you knew which Frenchman had made the most appearances in the top flight. And the correct answer is... With 347 appearances under his belt, Antoine Griezmann is the French footballer to played the most games in La Liga. He was just 19 when he made his debut with Real Sociedad, and since then has progressed and developed to become one of the very best strikers in Spanish football. Karim Benzema is second in the list and just 9 games behind his fellow countryman. Zinedine Zidane is a long way off the top 2. He played 155 times during his spell in Spain. All of his games were, of course, in a Real Madrid shirt.
That's all from this edition of La Liga Show. We say goodbye until the next match day, hoping you really enjoy and make the most of the long-awaited return of the best league in the world.
Mallorca, restarting La Liga represents a twofold challenge, a return to the fight against relegation and a visit from Barca.
Back to win.
Saturday, La Liga Santander, Mallorca-Barcelona on La Liga TV.
Back to win.
Forward.
Nothing in El Clasico is ever repeated, except for one thing. Each edition begins with a blank page waiting for new stories to be written by the authors of history. In the second Liga meeting with Real Madrid that season, Kluivert provided 2 assists in a Barca victory. He was always in the thick of things against Los Blancos, with his imposing physique and eye for goal. 13 Clásicos he contested. He produced some majestic performances against the old enemy. His history with the Catalan club ended as it began, with a goal against Real Madrid. It would be his last goal for Barca. It would also be the game-winning strike. Frank Rijkaard replaced Javier Saviola with Kluivert in the second half, and it took the Dutchman just a minute to level the game. There were always doubts about his consistency in front of goal, but Kluivert's record reads 122 goals in 6 seasons. In an anomalous time for Barca in terms of results, Kluivert managed to provide goals and good play. He was part of a transitional side from which one of the most successful teams in history derived.
Counter-terrorists win.
Beautiful nutmeg, and look at that pass! What a ball that was! Absolutely first class!
There are times when an assist can be even better than the goal.
Oh, what a superb goal!
But don't worry, here assists don't pass under our radar. Because we know that behind every goal there's a whole world of build-up. And especially these days, the best netbusters are down to teamwork. If the folks in Bilbao have been yearning for football, their prayers are about to be answered. Big time.
Back to win.
Sunday, La Liga Santander. Atlético de Madrid on La Liga TV.
Counter-terrorists win.
a 3-month hiatus, the ball gets rolling again at the Sanchez Pizjuan for El Gran Derby between Sevilla FC and Real Betis. It's one of the most prized matches in all of Spanish football, but tonight it's even all the more special because La Liga is back to win.
El Gran Derby is always a great occasion, the duel between the two grandest clubs from the Andalusian capital of Seville. There may have been some changes that have had to be made, but when Sevilla and Real Betis line up for the 98th time this evening, it will be a landmark encounter. This time around, the derby marks the first game of La Liga Santander after a 93-day pause, and it has all the ingredients to be a classic. Allied with winning a game that always divides the city, both teams know that a strong performance in the first game back laid the foundations for the 10 following encounters. Sevilla lie 11 points behind La Liga leaders Barcelona and will be aiming to close that gap, but finishing in the top 4 is a priority for manager Julen Lopetegui and his players. They concluded match day 27 lying in third place in the table after 2 wins and 2 draws from their previous 4 encounters. Following an inspiring triumph at Getafe and a late win against Osasuna, Sevilla showed their credentials when earning a point away against Atletico Madrid in the last outing before the lockdown. Real Betis manager Rubi will want his players to be looking up rather than down as they head across town for this enticing derby. Los Verde Blancos are 9 points behind 7th place Valencia and began the campaign with European qualification as a goal. In their last game, Betis ended a run of 6 matches without victory as they shone against Real Madrid in a 2-1 triumph at the Benito Villamarín. Sevilla only have 1 injured out as Lucas Ocampos faces a race against time to recover from a groin strain. As for the visitors, Rubi has his entire squad available, bar long-term absentee Juanmi, who is still in the process of overcoming a foot injury. Historically, Sevilla have won 45 of the previous 97 La Liga meetings overall, including a 2-1 win in November, while they have also won 30 of the meetings as the home team. But history also shows that when these two teams meet, both recent and past form count for nothing, and after 3 months without playing, that will be even more relevant this time around.
We have a brilliant game on our hands tonight, and we really couldn't have asked for a much better way to return to action. I'm joined in the studio tonight by Andres as well as Guillaume Balaguer. Now, Andres, this is really such a special day, not just because it's a derby down in Seville, but also what this means for the return of La Liga and for the country of Spain as well.
Yeah, because there was a moment when nobody really knew if to start again or not. It would be over after the coronavirus. So 3 months we've waited. We're very happy to be here again and watching some football. Unfortunately, at the moment with no supporters, but see if in the next month and a half we can start seeing some. So I'm happy to be back and happy to see you back again on the screen.
And we're happy to have you back, of course. And you as well, I haven't seen you.
No,
Where are you?
I've seen you in Zooms and internet and all those kind of things, but and Twitter and social media. But he has been, he has been a testing time, definitely a testing time. What's interesting is that every country have done it in a different way, that return. And one has decided too early, far too early, that they wouldn't come back. But you have to say that here there has been a clear case of leadership from the head of La Liga. Javier Tebas imagined and pictured what returning was like at a time where the 3 of us were going like, "You crazy? This cannot happen." But he's been a step ahead everybody else.
Yeah.
First by suggesting training individually, protocol to train us collectively, the return of the games. Now he's talking about fans going back before the end of the season. Fans going back a certain percentage. And again, my first reaction was like, what? Really? So you have to say that he obviously has privileged information. His brother is a part of a scientific team that in the United States,
and an excellent one as well,
is working towards a vaccine. So he's known what he's doing, and I think he never forgot having a group of clubs, but also that this industry of football in Spain there is 185,000 people working in it directly and indirectly. So jobs would have been lost. A lot of money would have been lost if we hadn't come back. True. But it's interesting that we've come back after Germany and with this game. So really good picture of a country that's getting better.
Well, we have plenty more to talk about this particular game at hand, but before we dive in a little bit more, as well as what you can expect this new football to look like, we're going to show you what the menu is on offer for the next match day 28, of course. There'll be games for the next 4 days starting tonight after El Gran Derby, which kicks off at 10 p.m. down at the Sanchez Pizjuan, as we said earlier. Tomorrow, the action starts between Granada and Getafe at 7:30, followed by another regional derby. This one, Valencia, Levante at 10 p.m. On Saturday, 4 games for you. Espanyol Alaves at 2 o'clock. At 5, it's Celta Villarreal, followed by a 7:30 kickoff between Leganés and Valladolid. And then it's Mallorca, Barcelona, taking on the current leaders in the table at 10 p.m. Then on Sunday, we have 3 games for you. Athletic Club against Atlético Madrid at 2 o'clock, a big one at San Mamés. Then at 7:30, Real Madrid, ABRE, and last but not least, for the match day, Real Sociedad Osasuna at 10 p.m. So Albert, tell me, which games stand out for you? Which ones pop out to you as ones that we need to be keeping an eye on?
I'm not going to say Barcelona this week.
Okay.
Although it's a very important game for them to keep the leadership. I will go for another derby, which is always derbies are different.
Right.
Valencia derby. Valencia Levante will be a tough game also. And the Athletic, also Athletic Bilbao, Atlético de Madrid, I think is a top game, so I will have a close look at these two.
That's a cracking match, no doubt. Yeah. What about for you, Guillaume?
Yeah, for sentimental reasons, I'll keep an eye on
Espanyol. We knew you were going to say that.
20 points, bottom. To be honest, this is a fascinating 11
Basi,
period
you're
game.
very positive. When you came in, you look positive for Espanyol.
Yeah.
Getting the salvation this year.
You think?
It's just wishful thinking?
Look at his eyes, you look like...
20 points.
Twinkle in his eye, though, maybe they can do it.
I don't know. I mean, Espanyol has been actually the one that's been hit the hardest because you had 8 players that got coronavirus, and not all of them have. What happens is it takes a while for you to recover physically. So maybe I'm looking for excuses, but it looks like a difficult task. Espanyol Alaves is one, certainly, and the Athletic Club without Aduriz for the first time, retired now, he's gone for good, back with Iñaki Williams in the side, and against an Atlético Madrid that is saying goodbye to the Monoburgos, the number 2, but has seen the cooperation of Adiel Costa, that is so fit that he probably will start ahead of even Morata. Every game matters because everybody, apart from Granada, who is like 4 points from the Europa League.
Well, but they can make it to 7th even.
But they're happy to be there mid-table. Everybody else is playing for something, so every game definitely matters.
It certainly does. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and show you the standings and remind you how things are shaping up in the table before we get the ball rolling in just about 50 minutes' time. Barcelona is still 2 points clear over Real Madrid, followed by Sevilla in 3rd. Real Sociedad round off the Champions League's positions. Then we have Getafe and Atlético Madrid, 2 Madrid-based teams in the Europa League positions, followed by Valencia, Villarreal, Granada and Athletic Club, who still could vouch for a place in a European competition. Here's the bottom half of your table. Osasuna, Real Betis in 12th. Levante, Alaves, Valladolid, 9 points clear of Espanyol, sorry to say, Guillem. Then we have Eibar and Celta just outside of the drop zone, and currently in it, Mallorca, Leganés and All right, well, I believe we can head over to our commentator for our match tonight, Simon Hanley, as he has the lineup. No, apparently not just yet, so we'll hold on to that thought for just a minute. But before we go ahead and share those lineups with you, why don't we talk a little bit more about what we might expect from this game in terms of football, because obviously this is a new football. It's going to be a new normal for us. It's not something we're accustomed to seeing normally. What might we see tonight?
The changes of rules, and it'd be interesting to hear from as well as we've seen in Germany that the pace has been a little bit slow, and I think that benefits the players that are the better players because they have more time with the ball. But in terms of rules, 5 substitutions, depending who you ask, Quique Setién will tell you that
he's not a
we
fan.
prepared games to kill teams off in the last 20 minutes, and then they can bring 5 players in. That goes against Barcelona. Yeah, but generally teams, the 13th player is much better than the 15th or 16th player. So the bench tend to be weaker, and everybody's going to have to rotate because games will be every 72 hours more or less. So I don't know. So which side?
I think that from the point of view of a manager is terrible because you have to think so many things now. Normally you're thinking too many things, but now you have to add the rotations, playing every 3 days, the injuries, because there will be injuries, strange pre-season, the 5 substitutions in 3 times. So and the question mark of how your players are going to be, because on the paper you have been in preparation, but it's not usual. You have been working together possibly for a week or 10 days, no more. The physical condition is some of the most you start.
Good job.
You've been stopped, or the players hasn't been done not anything. They've been some at home, but for 3 months, that's a long time.
And they're on standby mode and all that whole time as well too, because they're not really training or preparing for anything specific.
They can train at home, but the main difference is the distance, is the range. You in a normal training session, you do sprints or runs of 30, 40 yards, 50 yards, and continuous run, change of directions. So at home, even if you have a big garden, you cannot do much, but keeping the fitness. So it will be interesting to see how they manage all these circumstances. But, well, we can see football again, and that's the most important thing.
You'd be interesting to hear that I've spoken to a lot of managers because it's a completely new path, and for them it's been
one shot.
Test and trial.
Like a trial and error sort of.
Trial and error.
Okay.
Trial and error. So some of them went on the physical because they had been not only doing aerobic job work, well, they've been away running, mostly in a running machine. They thought, well, let's get them physically at their best.
One city.
And then they realized within days that actually they were so rusty, the festuccio was bad, and they needed to bring the ball in, and they had to change completely their plans. And it has been like that all along, so it's like flying with your eyes closed, a manager described it.
Very interesting indeed. Well, we'll certainly carry on with that conversation later on, but as you well know, fans all over Spain, especially down in the city of Seville, are very excited about the return to action, especially in their very own Gran Derby. So we can have a look now just how the fans have been building up to this big game down in the Andalusian capital.
After 3 months away, the best league in the world is back. No one was better clashed than a derby worthy of the occasion. The eyes of the football world are firmly placed on the city of Seville, and the city itself is dressed up for the return of La Liga. This has been a complicated time for everyone, of uncertainty and difficulties, though the return of football is a huge step forward for all of us who have missed the game. The fans are ready, and of course, they have their opinions.
Long. Camp.
There are 11 games to go, everything's up for grabs. The sprint starts tonight. It's clear that some fans will suffer more than others.
Son para mí malísimo para el corazón. Procuro no verlo. Muy nervioso siempre, un derbi siempre crea mucho nervios. Esta noche estaremos muy nerviosos.
La Liga Santander is back, and whatever the result, it's clear we're all the winners.
Back to win. 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 Back to win.
Back to win indeed. Well, now in fact we can head over to Simon Hanley, your commentator for the game tonight, and he does have the lineups for us. So hello Simon, please fill us in on the good news. What are these two starting 11s?
Hello Semra, really excited here, and obviously we've been looking forward to finding out exactly what the lineups are going to be for this opening game of round 28, 3 months and 1 day since the last La Liga Santander game. And the big question on everybody's lips, how many substitutes were there going to be? Well, I can tell you it's 12 per team. So let's get down to business. Lining up for Lopetegui for Sevilla. Thomas Vaclik in goal. There's a 4 of Jesus Navas, Diego Carlos, Jules Koundé and Sergio Reguilon. Fernando playing in front of the back 4 with Joan Jordan and Oliver Torres either side, and Lucas Ocampos, Munir El Haddadi and Luke de Jong up front. And that means that on the bench for Lopetegui Sevilla, the keeper Bono, Escudero, Ronnie Lopez, Suso, Eva Banega, En Naziri, the 16-year-old Juan Jose Mena, another debutee, Nolito, Mudo Vasquez, Gerard Rodriguez and Sergi Gomez. 12 players there on the bench, including some very big names that some of us, at least I suspect, expected to see in the starting lineup. Lining up for Rubi's Betis, Robles in goal. A back 4 of Emerson, Bartra, Sidney and Moreno. 2 men in the engine room in front of that back 4, Guido Rodriguez and Carlos Elinya, with Canales, Teo and Fekir playing behind the lone striker, Borja Iglesias, which means on the bench for Betis this evening, the keeper Dani Martin, Antonio Barragan, Isa Mandi, Zufidal, Edgar Gonzalez, Diego Lainez, Pedraza, William Carvalho, Guardado, Rodri Sanchez, Joaquin and Loren Moron, and perhaps the biggest surprise of all, that man there, Joaquin, starting tonight's derby on the bench. All set to kick off in 43 minutes' time from the Sanchez Pizjuan.
Flashback. I'm throwing smoke.
Simon, thank you very much indeed for that. Some very interesting images, of course, seeing players for the first time arriving to the stadium, wearing their face masks, keeping social distancing, washing their hands with the...
And you have to say, and listen, the fans.
Of course, yeah.
What will be sang everywhere in Sevilla, of course, is when the anthem gets heard through the speakers. And
one and long.
Because the teams are allowed approved by La Liga, and one of them will be the anthem of Sevilla. And then it will be also shocking not to hear everybody singing. But much worse. The possibility of having fans in the stadium is approaching, and it will be, sounds like this season. And the one thing that I found out through all this different look and the way that players have to do is the positive mind frame of elite coaches and players. Because I would be moaning all the time, oh my God, this, we have to do this.
How uncomfortable this is, with the gloves and the mask and everything. Look at his face, he's grinning.
Very soon they go like, what is it that we have to do? And let's do it. Having said that, some have made mistakes, including Sevilla players who went on a barbecue, and then Jovic and some other players.
Pool and everything else too.
It's like Semedo, who went to a party of 20 plus people when that's not allowed, that kind of things. There have to be mistakes. But generally, you have to say, both the coaches have been positive about what has to happen, and whatever the conditions they have had to work, and it's been stressful, as Tony was saying, because a lot of things are new. The players have accepted it too. And look, no fans are on the stage. That was a fear. That they will come and get together and try to cheer. No, there is a sense of responsibility that's going. They're not there.
Which, talking about the game, what Guillem said about the fans, it is so important, mainly in a derby, obviously, to feel the support of the fan. Sometimes you win games just because of that, because the fans just they helping you, they cheering you. So the atmosphere that is created in the stadium, even if you're not playing a good football, you just feel an
extra pressure,
security or confidence in yourself, and you do things that normally without supporters, with a real 11 versus 11, possibly you wouldn't try. So it would be interesting to see because these two teams are pretty level. If you say, for instance, Barcelona at home against another team, it wouldn't change much. But two teams that they're very level in terms of quality and everything, with no supporters, I like to see this game. I think it will be very different to the game that we've seen. And the two teams also, if we talk now, well, not Sevilla, but Betis changing the system, and they will both play with the same system.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned the part about the fans and whether you think it's going to be more level playing. Look at the record. Whenever Real Betis has travelled to the Sanchez Pizjuan, out of 48 games there, they've only won 12. That's 25%. The last time they won there was only 2 seasons ago in that crazy 5-3 spectacular match. But now I wonder if that almost tips the scales a little bit more in the favour of los verde blancos.
Yeah, you have to say no fans going on the same line.
Go short, guys.
Means that everything is it's more balanced. The stats are there. Generally, 45% of local teams win their games. 22%. Massive difference. But you wonder why, and of course there is a psychological lift when you need it, when you have to do that.
One other blue tick.
You don't have the lungs for it, but you go to the fans are asking you to do it. You dribble as well, and you do things that perhaps you do them because you, as a player, because you're a bit vain, like to show off to the fans. Interestingly enough, in the Bundesliga,
showboating, right, basically.
Showboating in the Bundesliga, there is much less dribbling, partly because there's not much to show it off, partly because perhaps they don't have the physique to beat 1v1. So all these things can certainly make it for very interesting 11 games. Everybody admits that because the teams are so close to each other, surprises are going to be abundant. It's going to be all over the place. So every game could just come up with something that you don't expect, like you were saying about Betis.
Yeah, completely agree. So we will see. I think that the way that Betis approached the game with no supporters is completely different. And remember, even at home when they play in Sevilla, playing at home, they play with 3 centre-backs. Much more defensive, just try to avoid the counterattacks of Sevilla. But now, playing away from home, with no supporters, they play in the same system. So it will be interesting.
All right, well, we'll pick up on that and discuss in more depth those change of systems, at least for Real Betis, whenever we return. But we do have to take a very short break, so don't go anywhere. And we will also analyse the starting 11s as soon as we're back. So we'll see you in a few minutes.
One CD.
I am planning the bomb. Bomb has been planted.
One shot.
Madrid are back, keen to experience the thrill of fighting for the title once again. But ABRE are primed to make them feel the pressure.
Back to win.
Sunday, La Liga Santander, Real Madrid ABRE.
Get ready! It is going to explode!
Back to win.
It comes through now. A chance for Calavetta. And the equalising goal for Alaves. And it was in fact Edgar Mendes with the finish.
When we win, they say we overdo it on the celebrations, that we don't know how to win. And if we lose, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart of football in the world. When we win, they say we overdo it on the celebrations, that we don't know how to win. And if we lose, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions. And we don't know why they say we overdo it on the celebrations, that we don't know how to win Sunday. And if we lose, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions. And we don't know why they say we overdo it on the celebrations, that we don't know how to win Sunday. And if we lose, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions. And we don't know why they say we overdo it on the celebrations.
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions. And we don't know why they say we overdo it on the celebrations.
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions.
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions.
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions.
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions.
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions.
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart set on the champions.
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart
In the short, delivery.
Yes, they say we can't handle it, we shouldn't turn up, and they call us criers. Maybe we don't know how to win or lose, but one thing's clear, we know how to get to the heart
In the short, delivery. In the short, delivery.